Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If you are one of the 24 people who watched my last video, first of all, thank you, but I did put a teaser in there that this big preview is coming out. That was supposed to be this week. I got really sick and I didn't have time to do it, and now I'm traveling to hang out with some family for Christmas. But yeah, literally 24 views on that one. So thanks to the 24 of you who watched it. I guess I'm not disappointing that many people, but I'm not putting out a preview. I am just reviewing 2025, which is actually really exciting. And there, these 5 illustrations I did this year are the 5 best illustrations I've done in my entire life. So this year, 2025, has easily been the year of the most growth for me, and wanted to take this moment as the year is ending, to reflect on those illustrations. The first one is this illustration of the dragon swooping down. This is a project I did, and it's going to be a book that's going to be published. We've gotten confirmation that it's going to be published in 2026, which is really exciting. So with that, this first video is, I called it the final 10% saved this illustration. Here it is. This was a great intro.
Did I scare you? I'm 6 months into YouTubing and I have...
Wait, pause. I used to show my family my YouTube videos before they went out because I can be cringy. I can be weird and way over the top goofy and make people uncomfortable and whatnot. And so usually I'll ask my wife, is this too cringy? And if she says yes, then I'll cut it out, dial it back, figure out how to do a different intro. And this intro, she definitely said was way too cringy, but I went ahead with it anyways. I just loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
No idea still how to start one of these videos. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be finishing this illustration, adding that last final 10%. We obviously have to add some background to it, add some detail and some fun textures and stuff like that. This illustration was a lot of fun, but about everything that could have gone wrong went wrong in it. I mean, this was a grind the whole time. The dragon didn't look right at first. All the values were off. I ended up completely restarting and then started painting. There's something was still wrong and ended up kind of just out of luck. I was just messing with stuff and I thought, well, what would the composition look like if I just zoomed in here so that the dragon is really coming through?
This illustration really felt like a failure.
That worked really well. I think this composition looks way cooler. Obviously at that point I already had the...
It's actually really cool for me to look back and watch this because this actually just happened to me with an illustration I'm working on right now, where it's like, man, I cannot draw. Why am I even doing this? I can't draw. And it's just super discouraging. And to see it happen here with one of my favorite illustrations is like, okay, just keep grinding, go back to your fundamentals. You know how to make it a great image. It's just cool to see.
Detail of these scales in.
I loved those scales. Really those scales look great.
So yeah, we gotta add this castle in the background and kind of touch up the sky and this hillside and call it a day. Thanks for being here. Please do like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Guys, this is the inception of this YouTube channel. We're just starting. I'm getting like under 100 views per video. The algorithm hasn't figured me out. It's really exciting. It's really exciting to be here. So
I still get under 100 views per video, so subscribe. Good music. Good music, huh?
The epicness of this castle. Just very lame. Come on, Justin. Make it not lame.
It's a pretty lame castle still.
That's insane. Did Did you see that? All right, so here's this blue in the background. Very dark blue up against the sky. Let's throw that same blue down here. Look at that. Those are the same blues. Don't believe me? All right.
This is still insane. Even as somebody who paints regularly and sees these things all the time, it's still crazy to me that those are the same blue. It is, how you could say, mind-blowing.
Alright, let's have some fun with this sky. See the speed my hands are working out here? Wow!
I like this song a lot. And these cobblestones were super cool. One of my more successful shorts, not super successful, but a couple thousand views or something like that, was painting these.
Cobblestone is looking nice.
That cobblestone. It did look nice. This is back home, so I'm actually not using my iPad. A little Hollywood trickery here. This is my Cintiq. You can tell because the interface changed there. Things were just not working when I was trying to paint here at the studio, and I wanted my Cintiq instead of my iPad. It's just a feel thing sometimes, you know?
Here, please do like and subscribe. Here is that final reveal.
Yeah. Great painting. Super cool. It's loose, and there's a lot I really love about that painting. So anyways, that is number 5 of our countdown. Is the dragon entrance. Also, that book is going to be so sweet. So make sure you are subscribed for when that comes out. I will be linking it and all of that wonderful stuff. All right, the next one, number 4 on my list, was my very first published illustration, which I put out a video called My First Ever Published Illustration. And this one got 239 views. It is 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's check it out and react to it. Whoa, there's an ad. How can there be an ad before my videos?
Hey, I'm Justin. I'm the illustrator who illustrated this illustration. Let's dive into it. But before we do that, I did want to thank you guys so much for the participation on this video, trying to decide whether my kids book I'm working on should be painted traditionally or digitally and what the style should look like. I am going to be doing another video on trying to pick the style of this thing, because just look at all
Ended up
these
going
options I've come up with.
totally different direction.
I have no idea what direction to take it in. I'm perplexed.
It's fun watching these videos afterwards. Genuinely didn't know how the book was going to turn out. It turned out
I'm
great.
excited to share that process with you guys of trying to figure out what direction to go. I think I found one.
That entire process is out there. You can go watch it.
And I'm feeling comfortable, but I feel like every time I lay my head down on my pillow, the first thought I have is, nope, it's not gonna work. It's the wrong style. And then falling asleep is a lot of fun after that. So I'm gonna.
I finished the book, and I still don't know if I chose the right style. I don't know how.
Illustration I did, and I realized
Styles are crazy. I won't get into it, but I still don't know that I chose the right style for that book.
in the world. It's going to be the cover illustration of this kid's book that is coming out, and that's about all I can share right now. But I did get confirmation that it is getting printed, but, you know, who knows? Something could go wrong, and all of a sudden it's not getting printed. But I'm pretty confident it's going to be printed. That's about all I can share right now. So this video is that time lapse.
It did get published. You can find it. It's called The Cloud Eater on Naganos Press. Noggin Nose, like Noggin Nose. I don't know why that's the name of the press, but you can go find it there. Cloud Eater. The Cloud Eater. Good fantasy music. This illustration, on the other hand, was an illustration that just everything went right. I banged out the first draft of this illustration in a day, which I should be able to do more often, but that doesn't happen. As I'm illustrating more, I'm getting in a better habit of making the right decisions regularly. It's a great cloud. Good colors. It was fun. I took this illustration to Lightbox Expo with me, and I had a series of illustrations that I wanted different artists to look at. And so Nathan Folks was looking at my artwork, and his one critique of this piece compared to my other ones is he's like, I don't understand the story. Why is this boy here? Why is this cloud eater here? And I didn't argue with him because, you know, I'm not going to just start arguing. And he had great feedback elsewhere. But I actually think that that's a really good thing for a book cover. If you just have this title and a little bit of an abstract scene, which if you read the book, it's a very important scene, obviously. But all I was trying to do is grab your attention, right, with the book cover. So I actually don't think that's... I was very okay with that critique from Nathan. This is painted on my iPad, if you're interested. I loved those hands. Felt really good. Sometimes when you're painting, you just do something and it can lead the rest of the painting in direction and style and everything. And that hand with that thumb was like, yes, that is everything I want this painting to be. And everything flew out from that hand. Love that blue bounce light coming up from the lake, maybe. Or I don't have much to say about this, but it's just fun to watch the style come in. So this is the second round. After some edits, we needed some more room for the title and the author's name and stuff, so I had to make it larger, which is fun. Really like that glow coming, backlit cloud, but then also you've got this red face coming in, this magic in the face itself. That's really cool. So really struggling with the face, so you see me here start sketching in. the face, and obviously that sketch leaves, but it gave me the structure I needed to actually build out what this monster's face looked like. Huge reference steal here, not steal, but definitely based off of the giants that you see in Scott Gustafson's paintings, his fantasy paintings. That blue shadow right there. That does it, doesn't it? Oh, it's great. I love it. You can love your own art, right? I mean, that was the whole goal this year, was to be putting out artwork that was exceptional, that I wouldn't hate later. And I mean, I've met that goal over and over and over again this year, and that just feels so good. So yeah, that's the cover of a book now,
so much
which is great. It's really cool.
If you love art process videos, illustration specifically, please do like and subscribe. I am working on a kids book myself. I'm working on other projects for different people, and this is a channel to watch my illustration process, to help me. So I really appreciate it. Please do like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. You're the best. And I'll see you next time.
Do like and subscribe. All right. So that's number 4. Number 3 is... Oh, this is a real toss-up. These last 3 are really good. All of them. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Dragon on the Rock is number 3. The third is the Dragon on the Rock, which is a almost 13-minute video called I Stopped Painting and That Fixed Everything. Here we go.
Hey, I'm Justin. I'm the illustrator who illustrated this illustration. Let's get into it.
It's like a Seinfeld start or something.
So
That's hilarious.
Reasons I started
Nice
this YouTube
bass.
channel was completely selfishly. I felt like I wasn't spending enough time illustrating, and I knew if I was going to be putting out weekly videos, I would need to be illustrating a whole lot more than I was. So I have been illustrating now regularly for, what has it been, 6 months of YouTubing? Whoa, has it been 6 months? Something like that. And this illustration in particular felt
I think I said 6 months in the video we just watched.
I feel like a lot of the videos I've been putting out and a lot of the illustrations I've been doing, the results have been really good, but the process has been a little bumpy. Making lots of mistakes, doing things wrong, but this one felt really good all the way through, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about what's different about it. What did I do differently? And
These videos are cool. You should subscribe.
Is caring so much about the sketch. For this particular project, it's a really large book. There's 140 pages in it, so there's 70 illustrations. Only 7 of them are painted. Most of them are these really cool looking pen drawings that I did. And when I decided that one of them should be a color
Those pen
illustration,
drawings
what I was doing
were
is just
so
using that
fun.
drawing as a reference and then diving into the painting without really thinking through the drawing. And those pen sketches really do stand on their own, but they're abstract and a little funky, and when you want to actually dive into the painting of it, it's not enough information. So that's what I really like about this illustration, is how much I cared about the drawing. And then I started blocking in the colors, and this is where I ran into my...
That goes back to the giant face too that we were just talking about, where I cared about the sketch behind and the structure behind the painting. Sometimes taking that step back really helps move forward.
Hitting these roadblocks where the illustration just doesn't quite feel right is completely normal, and I'm very used to it at this point. But how I reacted to it this time was different than how I reacted to it in this video, and this video. I just stopped painting. That's right. I just stopped painting. So usually when I get to this point and I kind of freak out, it's like, the painting's not working quite right. What I instinctively do is just move on to the next step instead of really focusing and figuring out what the problem is. So if the drawing's not looking quite right, I go, oh, that's okay. We'll fix it in the blocking stage. And if the blocking stage isn't working, it's like, okay, I know how I'll fix it. I'll just dive into rendering. And those details will really make this thing look right. And then I'm rendering it out. Things aren't working. It's falling apart. The entire illustration's falling apart. I get so mad, I get up from my desk and I walk away. And a little bit later, I walk back and I look at the illustration and I go, oh, the drawing's wrong. And then I go all the way back. What I did this time is I just skipped to that last step. I just stopped painting. I took a step back and I looked at it and said, okay, what is wrong here? And I diagnosed each phase. So I started with the drawing. Is the drawing good? And actually, this time the answer is yeah. Okay, the drawing is working. It's hitting that emotional beat.
Couldn't have said it better if I said it myself.
I think the drawing is fine. Okay, then what about the blocking stage? And my value structure in the blocking stage was the issue. So what you'll see me do here is I'll put a black and white adjustment layer on this so that I can see it without its color. And then I go in and I start adjusting my value.
Don't get distracted with those colors.
Things that need to be brightened,
go black and white.
Things that need to be darkened. And then I just gently tweak the color harmony. From there, I can actually start to build out my illustration. This is something I learned from Jason Seiler. He said that, this is not a quote, but he said something like, at every stage of your painting should be beautiful. And I think that's the difference between a professional artist and a student artist. A professional artist respects every step of an illustration. They respect the drawing.
Right here, this advice.
They don't stop until it's right. They respect the value structure. They don't stop until they get it right. They respect the block-in stage, making sure the colors match that value and that the harmonies are working. And then they respect the rendering phase and getting the right amount of details for the style that they're using.
I was just talking to somebody about this exact same idea. I think it goes outside of the art world, is that people who excel in whatever they're excelling care about the process more than anybody thinks. You don't jump to the fun part. You don't think that something is good enough until you move on, and then it's good enough and you move on. You respect and crush every single stage. And I think that goes past the art world. I was talking to a teacher about this, and it's just, you want to excel at something. I think there's always a process and you have to respect the process.
Whereas a student, like I was saying, gets to these points where they
look at that trash.
They freak out and move on.
This was the dragon flying in painting. It was just throwing paint around.
Is to jump from step to step when something's not working. Whereas what I really need to do is just stop painting, step back, figure out what's wrong, and don't move on until it's fixed. So we start blocking in these colors and things are feeling right the entire time. I have that black and white layer on and I'm going back and forth. You'll actually see this throughout the entire illustration, even when I'm rendering out all of the little details, because this illustration relies so heavily on a dark shadow and that beak. I don't know if you call it a beak, the beak of a dragon sticking out, and the muzzle of a dragon in the night. And so the value structure was so important. How dark those shadows were was really important, and how light the light part of it was just needed to have that right balance. Couldn't be black and white, but it also couldn't be floating around in these grays. So I really did feel like the block.
This is so nerdy.
Was beautiful. Going back to that Jason Seiler.
If you're watching this,
being beautiful,
you're probably an art nerd.
Stage was beautiful, which allowed me to dive in and kind of render whatever I wanted to. So I did start with the dragon, getting the sketch really built in there, but then quickly moved on to this knight because I was jazzed about the idea of this armor. And what ended up happening is I really think I rendered it out really well if it was a car, but it's not a car, it's a knight. I gave him this really shiny chrome look, which was a lot of fun as an illustrator to think through how this would reflect and
what kind of heartbroken when I had to change it,
and all of this stuff. It was really fun
to be
think
softened.
about. But as I stepped back, I was like, this knight looks like he's wearing different parts of a car. So we needed to darken all of that, kind of add a little bit more of a matte texture. This is armor. You're not going to be seeing pure reflections in it. And moving on from there, and again,
ain't no eggshell.
Checking my value structure as I'm working with this knight. In the knight, I also made, with this knight, I also made the same mistake where I got caught up in the details again. And that was, I noticed that instinct of something is wrong here, and I need to jump.
Looks like he's wearing a tree skirt.
Something's wrong. I need to just add detail. And then I remembered what I'd been thinking about. The whole thesis of this illustration is no, don't move on to the next step. If something's wrong, it's because of something I've already.
This, I mean, I know it's a YouTube video. I'm trying to get views and be interesting, but this illustration did completely change my life. And what I'm talking about of that not moving forward, that instinct, I started to learn it here. I should have learned it way earlier, but this was a really important illustration in my life. And again, this 2025 has been that way, where there's just been things I should have learned a long time ago, but it's just a huge year for me illustration wise and illustration process wise.
And that worked out really well. The skirt, I don't know if you call it a skirt, the kilt of this knight was pretty hilarious. I was trying a lot of different things, and I wasn't sure exactly what colors it was, and at some point it ended up looking just like a Christmas tree skirt, but I was able to back that.
That's what I said.
And actually find a style that I really liked.
That's what it makes sense that we would have the same thoughts, me and me.
But you'll see me again, you'll see that flicker of black and white, black and white, black and white. Whenever I add new colors into my illustration, I'm adjusting that value structure, and I don't want to push and pull it too much. I want to keep that really simple value structure. So what you'll see me do is just go back and forth with the black and white, try a new color, switch to the black and white. After I've got that simple value structure with the shadow of the rocks versus the light of the rocks, then I can start diving in and really building out some of the detail in the rocks, which was really fun. So adding these cracks in the rocks to compose a visual story, you want to feel that knight just looking up at the dragon and dropping his sword. And you can really use the composition of the rocks in the background to create that feeling. It's really interesting when you think of every aspect of your illustration as
going up like
an important story point.
It takes your eyes up,
a feeling, to create an emotion
throughout the illustration.
And that's what these rocks are doing. All right, let's skip ahead. Nobody wants to see rocks rendered out this much. All right, we get to rendering out the sword here. Got a nice blue shadow on it. The sword needed to be really important, which what's really nice about swords is they're very shiny. So it's easy to use them as attention, but I wanted also that shadow on it, so you're connecting it back to the knight. Again, an interesting, just tiny little story moment. There's a reason that sword is not completely exposed.
100%.
But it starts to slide into the shadow of the knight. That sword's gonna bring our audience into the story, and then it's gonna fall under that knight, and you're gonna look up to the knight, and the knight's gonna be looking up towards this dragon, and the whole time, the landscape is also.
But look how loose it is in the details. Like when you see that,
all right, here we go.
The grass under his foot.
The dragon. The dragon was super fun to render.
Very proud of this dragon.
Just this
super lizardy,
ancient dragon. So confident, looking down, knowing he's about to make a snack out of this knight. There's just something so.
Make a snack out of him.
Fun. You'll see me flip the canvas back and forth. That is just a way of letting me see through the lens of my audience who is seeing this for the very first time. There's something weird that happens when you flip an image. It's like when you look in a mirror and you don't see the mirror image, some of those trick mirrors where you actually
I don't even think I know what I'm talking about here.
Recognize yourself. Likewise, when you
I think I meant a selfie camera.
If you flip the canvas back and forth, it gives your eyes this moment to catch things that look weird. And so then you can fix it. You flip it back. Does it look right? Flip it. Flip, 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 flip. It's just a neat way to give your eyes the chance to see what your viewer is seeing. So all the while, you'll see I still have this black and white layer on, and I can go back and forth because I'm adding all these colors to the shadow of my dragon. But I need to make sure that it is sticking with that initial story idea. That is just a value statement. This is dark.
Keep it simple.
This is light. I was just really happy with how this dragon turned out.
You should be.
I think this is
you should
a really
be, man.
unique looking dragon. I think it is the right dragon for this story, which is most important. I think it really describes the kind of creature that the author was describing. I feel like I said describing a lot. I really think this illustration
These teeth,
looks
man.
good.
These
All right,
teeth.
here comes the fun part, is pulling those teeth. Pulling those teeth. I don't know. I can't tell you why it was fun, but it was...
It was fun because it was the end of the... Like, when you figure out an illustration and the drawing is good and the structure is good and you start to be able to add the details come really easily because you're in such a clear mindset of what this structure looks like, and you're able to add all these little details, and so you're so quickly hitting these successes. You're like nailing it over and over and over again because you know how everything is sitting. You're thinking of it three-dimensionally. That's why it's fun to get to things like teeth when the rest of the dinosaur or dragon is looking so good.
Challenge at the angle of this head to figure out what shape the tooth would be. And then this moment where this one tooth just starts glowing. It's actually, you might see in my black and white version, it's the lightest part of my illustration is this tooth, which is perfect
100%.
for the story. If you think about it.
That's what I love about this illustration. It's such good storytelling.
Brightest is this tooth. It's perfect. It was just so exciting because that wasn't planned. You know, I didn't have it rendered out and thinking the brightest part of this painting is gonna be this tooth, but it's perfect, right? I love it. It is so fun. All of that to say, I am so happy that I am learning to stop painting and make sure that every section of my illustration is right before I move forward. And really, I think I proved it to myself in this illustration that every section of a painting can be beautiful, which is really exciting. So, without further ado, here is the finished illustration. Wait. Before we do that, please do like
and subscribe,
it
please.
would mean the world to me. Okay, here is that final reveal.
Back up, man.
That music is loud. Love it. So that is number 3 of the 5 best illustrations of 2025, all of which significantly changed my life. And these last 2 are so near and dear to my heart. But in order to watch the entire process, we would have to watch my 4-part series, which we're not going to do, on the Marco Bucci Tears My Illustration Apart, which, if you're still watching this video right now, thank you. And like and subscribe because you're clearly an art nerd or you just like watching creative processes. But I did reach out to Marco. He is still planning on making a reaction video to this. He's just been very busy. But we are going to watch the Marco Bucci Tears My Illustration Apart 4, which is a fantastic illustration. I'm so proud of this one also. Again, an ad on my video. Why? 2 ads? What is going on?
It's finally happening. I have officially sent the finished illustration to Marco Bucci. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me explain. 6 months ago, I put out this video explaining that 3 years ago, this timeline's getting freaky. 3 years ago, I was in a Marco Bucci mentorship program. Maybe 4 years ago. 2 years ago? 3.5 years ago. I was in a Marco Bucci mentorship program. 8-week intensive. It was awesome. This was the final piece I did in that program.
It's hilarious.
Today, we're skipping a lot of...
I got a lot better in 3 years.
But I wanted to get back into illustration, which is part of the reason I started this YouTube channel. I reached out to Marco and I said, hey, can I recreate this illustration and get you to do a critique video for my YouTube channel? And Marco said yes, because Marco is awesome. Anyways, I then put out this video, and this video on the composition and how I was thumbnailing it and the drawing and the color. I don't remember what the third video was. Just go watch the third video. I think it was coloring. And
it's fun to watch the whole series because the studio gets upgraded and how I shoot YouTube videos changes. So if you want to watch like a little bit of my YouTube history, watch the series also.
But I was pretty bummed because This illustration project is my personal project. It's where I actually get to see how much I have improved as an illustrator. It's kind of the beginning of my YouTube channel. It's near and dear to my heart, and I really wanted to get to it. And I was honestly disappointed that I couldn't get to my Marco Bucci critique video illustration sooner, but I'm actually so happy that I was as busy as I was and I couldn't get to this illustration.
Be busy.
Doing these
That's good to hear going into 2026. As I've tried to think about what my goals are. Be busy.
Improved the final product of my Marco Bucci illustration
100%.
so incredibly much. I am so thankful that I couldn't just dive into the Marco Bucci illustration and I had to do all these other projects. I'm so thankful I was so busy because this illustration is way better because of these other projects. The other really cool thing, and I know we'll get to the time lapse very soon, but the other really cool thing about this illustration is I was willing to make big compositional changes to it throughout the entire process. So what you're about to see is the final 20 hours of illustrating. And what you'll notice is I make big compositional decisions and changes because I feel like when I'm illustrating, even when I'm really focusing on the composition and the thumbnailing stage, and I'm really focusing on getting the drawing right and all of that kind of stuff, I just don't know what I don't know until I actually start rendering it out. So as I started rendering it out, I realized these kids are way too small.
You know, it's interesting watching this video right after watching the video we just watched where I talked about nailing every single stage, which I totally agree with, but this does happen. You just don't know what you don't know. And sometimes, especially when, like me, you're a young illustrator, you haven't done thousands of illustrations yet. You can't see what the finished product looks like until you start painting it. And so not getting upset with myself in that moment is really smart because, you know, I'm a young illustrator. I got a lot to learn.
This is my center, this is my focus. And so I had to blow them up a little bit, make them a little larger. And then I kept illustrating. I really loved where this was going. I loved the characters in it. Like this lady, I just loved the character of this lady. She was just added to the composition of this piece so much because we have these kids fighting in the streets and we have this woman walking and she's got colored hair and she's holding a cat with a beanie on. It's just weird and it's messed up and
she's weird.
So culturally
shouldn't hold a cat
and I thought it
with the rain jacket on. That's just weird.
I realized she was drawing too much attention and everything in the foreground was too big and it was taking away the focal point. And so I had to sacrifice her, which was really sad, but I think it was the right decision.
She's gone.
And it was really cool for me personally to be able to give up all of the hours of thinking of what that woman needed to look like, creating her pose, actually rendering her out, and just at the last minute of this illustration, just chopping her out of it for the sake of the illustration. Without further ado, here is the final 20 hours of this illustration.
Yeah, final 20 hours pushed into 4 minutes. This is what my mom was talking about when she said she didn't know what was going on. This is a fast time lapse. And it bounces around a lot. This illustration is so fun. This was just a grind. This was so much work. I'm really excited to see and hear what Marco thinks of this. So here's the character that we ended up completely nixing. This background is really fun to paint. Just super dystopian, just this glowing screens on everybody's face. This piece is on my ArtStation account if you want to look at it, and you can zoom in on all this detail in the background. It's really fun. I really like the crowd I drew. The mom was maybe my favorite part of this. She's awesome. She's a great character. I like everything about her. I like her wardrobe, her face. Like, she's just a great character. Her hand. Again, man, hands are so important for knowing who your character is. Gotta paint that water. This is supposed to be a Seattle scene, so the super rainy red cobblestone of downtown Seattle. If you know, you know. Guys, just watching this, I'm so excited about 2026 and some of the things we're going to be painting and working on. It's going to be awesome. There's this shadow right there. Boom. That strap. Love it. Coming down these red sweatpants of this kid. This nappy hair is so cool too. And this main character is just awesome. I almost threw freckles on him, and I really wanted him to be super freckled, but it just was too distracting, and he was too small for the freckles. They were too distracting. You couldn't really tell what was going on, and it clouded his face too much, so we had to nix them. This was so detailed. I'm not usually this tight in an illustration. This was hard.
Thank you so much for watching.
The end result was sick.
Illustration. Let me know if you think it's better than the first one.
It is better. It's objectively better.
I kept the crazy looking lady with the colored hair in there, or if I was right that she's too distracting. And next video coming out, Lord willing, is
that
Marco
did not
Bucci
happen.
Tearing apart my illustration. Finally.
So sorry.
So, please do subscribe.
But do subscribe. Marco has not given up on me. He is going to, and I'm not making it up. He will reply to this. Okay. Finally, the favorite illustration of mine this year comes in the form of my video. 3 tweaks made this illustration 10 times better. This video got 88 views, which is hilarious. But this is a great illustration.
4 years ago, I was in a Nathan Folks class at schoolism.com, and I did this illustration as an assignment for him. Fast forward to today, and I decided to redo that illustration. I often do this with illustrations that are 4-ish years old, because that's a nice amount of time to track progress. It's how long you're in college for. It's how long you're in high school for. It's 4 years. It's just
I'm gonna
a good
sneeze.
amount of time. Take an old illustration and see how much you've
Excuse me.
improved. Which is kind of what this channel is about. Currently, I am in this awkward stage where I
Groovy
don't
music.
feel like a student illustrator, but I'm also not professional yet. I'm not making my money doing illustrations. So you should definitely subscribe and make that dream come true. But while we wait for you to subscribe, I thought it would be really fun to take this old illustration and redo it and see how much I've improved. And what's fun about this is in a couple of weeks, I will be at Lightbox Expo in Pasadena, California.
That was super fun.
And guess who's gonna be there? None other than the pirate himself, Nathan Folks. I don't know if he's still wearing the eye patch.
He was.
But I kind of hope he is.
He was
I mean, for
wearing
his
the eye
sake,
patch.
hopefully not. Anyways, he's gonna be there, and I'm really excited to meet him in person and thank him for the classes he taught me. But also, I'm hoping to get to his booth and say, hey, this is an assignment I did for you 4 years ago, and here's how much I improved, and get his feedback on it.
I did get his feedback on it, and all he had was a joke, so I think it was good. He thought that version I recreated, the new one, was very good, which was really cool to hear Nathan Falk say that. And he's just a great guy. I bought a print. He signed it. It was great.
I think would be really cool. So that's the goal. But anyways, this video is 3 things that I did to take this illustration all the way to this finish. Let's dive in. All right. So the first thing I did was, it's going to sound abstract and weird and cliche and other things like that, but I just wanted to have more fun with this illustration.
So cliche and other things.
Like an assignment, which it was. A little stale and lazy. I think a lot
It was
of that
lazy.
comes out of just not having enough fun. So the
Don't
first
be
thing I did
lazy.
is just cover this thing in my favorite brushes, which is these oil canvas brushes, these digital oil brushes. I think very early
These
on,
YouTube
this actually
videos
had a lot
are
of
not
energy
scripted.
to it. And I've learned that the more calm I am, the slower I work, the more I step back and make sure that things are right and don't rush through a painting, actually the more fun I have because
100%.
it's more successful. If you guys
Winning
have
is
been
fun.
Following this
Winning
channel
is
for a
fun.
while, which most of you haven't. I can see from my statistics that only 5% of you are regular viewers. So you should
Subscribe.
definitely watch this video where I talk about this conviction that I have in my
We already watched it.
recently, where I don't want to just keep painting. I don't want to just get through a painting. I want to make sure that a painting is beautiful at every stage, because I truly believe that that is the difference between a student artist and a professional artist. So anyways, the first thing was to have fun. The second thing was this needed some lighting. This needed juicy light to help us tell that story. Not juicy light for the sake of juicy light, but juicy light to help us tell this
Tell
story.
that story.
So I literally Googled
Tell that
greatest
story.
basketball photos of all time. And what I found was a lot of great reference. But this picture of Kobe Bryant
So sick.
slam diddity dunking it. And what I loved about it
So
was those
cool.
lights in the background, those big Canon lights.
Big
so I said,
Canon
hey,
lights.
we need to add this. Oh, I should mention that this painting is based off of a reference photo of David Skywalker Thompson and his 44-inch
insane.
vertical winning a jump ball by like,
David Thompson's so cool. If you haven't watched David Thompson highlights, you gotta watch him.
So anyways, that's what this is based on. Anyways, what was I talking about? Lighting. So we put those big Canon lights in the background, and what that let me do was really give some life to my main character here. I wanted to take these kind of Looney Tunes looking characters that I had established in the 2021 version of this illustration and give it realistic lighting. What that let me do is 2 things. Really juice up the lighting and give me a chance to use the old rim lighting, which a lot of illustrators make fun of rim light, say that it's overused in concept art, but it's just so appropriate for a sports photo,
Yep.
specifically a basketball one where it is backlit.
Sweaty and backlit.
So-
You're gonna have rim light.
What you have to say about rim lighting? I think it looks awesome in this one. By adding that light, I was able to add a lot of detail, because once you add lighting to your situation, you can kind of create this equation.
Kind of.
This is dark, this is light, this is
I think I meant kind of.
There's logic to it. I know now, because I've stated that my lighting situation is here. I know that
I love this painting.
is where the light's gonna hit, and this is where the shadow's gonna be. Whereas if you go back to my old version, there's not really a light situation in that. And so it's harder to make decisions when you haven't set a North Star of this is the temperature of my light, this is the intensity of my light, this is where my light is coming from, here's how many different lights there are. By making those decisions, I am able to have a lot more fun and start telling a story, which is the third point, is making sure that every aspect in this painting is serving the story. So what is the story, Justin? Great question. The story of this illustration is David Skywalker Thompson getting that ball, doing whatever it takes to get that ball. But on top of that, it is the awe of this moment, the unbelievableness of a human being being able to jump that high. So this third
Yep.
point definitely ties back into both of the first 2 things I was saying. One, having fun with it. An illustration that is story driven is way more fun. Once you decide what
more
the
fun.
story is, you're able to navigate all of the details and put them in a hierarchy of this narration. So I was able to push back some of the characters in the background, push back the referee, because by doing that, it made my lighting so much more effective to that point of David's gonna get this ball, whatever it takes. I rendered out the ball much further.
I wonder if I could get rid of the referee in this illustration. Not to critique my favorite illustration, but I wonder if I could just lose him.
Exciting, which is my second one. And 3, that ball is the final piece of our story, right? We have David Thompson jumping for a ball. So that ball needs to be way more interesting. So by pulling all of those characters back, by rim lighting the ball and David and giving him this juicy, cool lighting, I was able to create a way better story inside of this illustration. So that is how I took this old illustration and made it this good. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Please do like and subscribe. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.
That is awesome. All right, so those 5 illustrations, I'm jazzed right now just watching that. Those illustrations changed my life, guys, and I'm so excited about what 2026 holds for me. Please do subscribe. Lots and lots of effort goes into making those videos. I know this was a lot longer in a very different format and a little more laid back and sick because, well, I'm sick. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. 2026 is going to be insane. So make sure you subscribe and I'll catch you in the new year.
I think too much. I wake up tired and terrified. Started feeling weak. You grind your teeth.